And you can see when he's walking into the auditorium, this spotlight is shooting through the air, and you can see all the dust that's in the air. And there was marijuana being vaped in there. I could smell it. I got high. It was a secondhand contact buzz. I'm good. I'm good. I don't need any drugs to be how I am. And I'm free. I'm outing the pharmaceutical industry. I'm a suicide survivor. How about that? And I'm not afraid to tell you about it. It was a chemical assault on me that lasted for a dozen years. Not only was I suicidal, I was homicidal too. You don't hear that on the black box warning when they say you may have weight gain, weight loss, unusual thoughts. You may be a little bit constipated or whatever. They don't talk about when they say you may have suicidal thoughts. They don't continue to say you may have homicidal thoughts. The Family Support Network wouldn't be so eager to keep you on the drugs if they knew that underneath that drooling vegetable that you had become, that shell of a person, you were thinking about killing everybody and yourself. We see it on the news. It's tragic. It's criminal. I'm outing it. The pharmaceutical industry is creating vaccines that create a lifetime dependency on the drugs that they are enslaving humanity with. And if you're thinking that marijuana is a panacea of perspective and being your best life now, I can tell you it's frankenweed that I found, meaning there was chemical constituents that were a mystery to me. Growth stimulators, flowering agents, all of the stuff, and it was sexually frustrated female plants, quite frankly. And what happens when they're deprived pollination is they create this sticky goo that's highly psychoactive, a lot of THC, not enough CBD. I'm not anti all cannabis products. There is CBD that's non-psychoactive that can provide a lot of relief. For a long time, hemp was illegal in the United States. There's a lot of mystery with this and a lot of conspiracies, actual real conspiracies. For example, I remember a sales company that had billboards in Wisconsin, and we lived across the street from the owner of that, Standard of Appleton. They had some big clients. One of the billboards showed a globe of all things with a fuel nozzle and then a drip coming out of it, and the line was, "What then?" Well, it was a lie. They were perpetuating the global lie for one, and they were presenting the lie that oil was running out. They've been saying for a long time that oil was going to run out. Here's the problem with that. It's abiotic. It's created in the earth through the interaction with the way that the water in the ocean and all of that. It's not decomposed dinosaurs, just so you know. And the whole dinosaur thing, there were large beasts, but not the kind of Steven Spielberg dinosaur garbage. And by the way, looks like Steven Spielberg is a sodomite, a pedophile, and Hollywood is loaded with pedophiles. You think somebody wants to ice me? Are you kidding? They'd love to see me shut the heck up. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, and I am a bit angry. And I'm angry at the right things. There's men, women, children that are being enslaved with human trafficking. It happens all around. We're expecting 20 million guests here a year. With all the booby bars that are around, the gentlemen's clubs that they call them, people get all cranked up and with no place to go. And that happens with pornography too. And that whole over-sexualization of humanity starts at a very young age. There's children that are on smartphones before they even walk. Do you think after mom or dad was maybe looking at something that they shouldn't have been, or maybe it just assaulted them? This stuff comes through. It's a poison. I found my first pornography when I was 5 years old. I wasn't looking for it. I didn't even know it existed. I didn't even know what naked people looked like. And then I was building a fort on Lake Winnebago out of rock, out of stones, flat patio blocks, and all of a sudden, shazam, there it was. It was a Playboy. And little did I realize that that was a whole transpocalypse too. When you look at the A-listers and these iconic figures of Man of the Year, Woman of the Year, many of them are not even the gender they're presenting. They castrate them, hit them with hormones, or they hit them with hormones. You can change the plumbing and padding. You still got a man or a woman genetically, whether you like it or not. Am I insensitive? I'm just telling you the truth. It wouldn't be loving for me to just embrace all of humanity and sing Kumbaya and say, hey, I hope you figure this out. Well, I hope you figure it out. I'm going to give you a little bit of a clue. And that is, there's a whole lot of people all excited about Jesus and being one of his children and gathering and having their cappuccinos and listening to their hip pastors with flowered shirts, or maybe suits and ties. It may be a very, like the Chosen Frozen. Well, anyway, whatever it is, if they're stinking like vodka or they're on other drugs and they're in willful disobedience to God, it's unlikely that they're even born again, and they may never be. They may not even be his children. So if you're all upset about the religious hypocrites, you're looking at someone who was. I was a religious hypocrite. Now that I got the upgrade. Have you been upgraded yet? Here's the upgrade. I love a lot of Eric Dubay's stuff. He went to church a lot and all that. As far as I know, he's saying Jesus isn't real. That whole Jesus figure, that's not real. I disagree with him. Now, I interact with him, private message him, send him my stuff. He hasn't blocked me yet. So what I'll do is I'll weigh in on this. Rob Skiba, Torah terrorists, as Dean Odell has called them, these people are absolutely representing another gospel. Listen to the letter to the Galatians, Paul's letter to the Galatians. You want to know who holds this whole thing together? Look at Colossians. It takes less than a day to hear the entire New Testament. I've done it thousands of times. I did it hundreds of times before I was actually born again. I was born again about 4.5 years ago when the blood-drinking, human-sacrificing Satanists celebrate Halloween and sweeten up the deal by candy distribution. Kind of like Santa Claus, Satan Claus, the God replacement, knowing what you're doing behind closed doors. And if you're a good little boy or girl, he's going to take his flying freaking reindeer and deliver you presents. When I found out that that was a lie, I was wondering, what else? What else are they lying about? I've been questioning my reality the whole time I can remember. And what happened was I retreated into a life of the pursuit of pleasure. And I was so frustrated with my relationship with God because I had all this desire to do what I couldn't do. Well, what he did was he gave me his Holy Spirit, a love for the truth, and now I have a desire to do what he created me to do, and everybody else can deal with it. They can pound sand. They can use their pharmaceuticals for suppositories. They can stick their vaccinations in themselves if they want to be protected from what they think poisoning the rest of humanity is going to help with. Bill Gates, if we do a Bill Gates, oh, isn't he? Bill and Melissa Gates, aren't they just wonderful? Poisoning humanity with vaccinations and Planned Parenthood activity, aborting babies. 1.5 billion children worldwide have been they've been aborted. They've been integrated into now vaccines. How long have they been doing that? I don't know. There are people that actually drink human blood, and they especially like tortured, excited people. So they torture them, they pleasure them, torture them, take their blood, draw the adrenochrome from their spinal column, and have a good old time. Well, these are bastards. They're fallen angels. They hate humanity. And some of those people may be demon-possessed, and if they're actually born again at some point in their human experience, those demonic entities will be cast out. We've got biblical record of the historical past. Shark teeth in the desert and pyramids under the ocean, evidence of a great flood. And the ark in the mountains of Ararat. Ron Wyatt has discovered it. It's on my channel, on my like videos. We've got a firmament up above that separates the waters from above from the waters below. And then we've got, you can't make water stick to a stationary or spinning ball. We had water cover over the tops of all the mountains. Right now, apparently, from what we're told, we have mountains 5.5 miles tall with Mount Everest. Is the earth really flat? Well, there's the features rise out of the water like a clay seal. That's biblical, that's reality. Whether you like it or not. I'm at the point where I'm not going to tippy-toe around people that say they love Jesus and yet aren't promoting a biblical cosmology. They're part of disseminating the global deception. If you know somebody that's talking about the globalists and they're not exposing the global lie, they're part of the deception, whether they are aware of it or not. We were part of the deception when we perpetrated the Santa lie and also the global lie when we homeschooled our sons and told them that we lived on a globe. We didn't know. I found out about February 15th, I found out that we weren't on a spinning, wobbling, gyrating, oblate spheroid. So there you have it. That's today's little recording with the P1000. I may do some more. Please like, subscribe, share if you care to, and have the notification bell activated, because I will go live as required. Yeah, how about that? It's amazing. So on the, what happened now, I'm gonna, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna keep the live broadcast going, and